going? So, as I mentioned in a previous video, I am going to be making a video every day in the month of November. These videos are going to basically involve a whole range of things, from Q&As to random vlogs or chatty videos, or just general little how-tos and study snippets here and there. Today I wanted to talk to you about my struggles as a chronic disorganized person. Now basically I got the idea to make this video when I had my interview with Aaron from GemSoc at Manchester Metropolitan, and that was essentially my previous video. But basically in that interview Aaron was asking me certain questions about how I keep organized and how do I manage to keep up certain activities and hobbies while being in medical school. And my honest answer was that I don't always do a terrific job at this, and I think the reason for that is because naturally I'm not a very organized person. And I say this when I compare myself to a bunch of my friends who are either medics or students studying other subjects. And a general trend that I've seemed to notice is that the students who seem to do the best, or the ones who tend to be typically the most organised, are the ones that kind of allocate their day so that every day they are doing a little bit of something to contribute towards their big study goals. A lot of them tend to follow schedules, or they tend to use diaries to keep up with things, or they seem to come up with study plans that they actually write and stick to. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have tried all of that. I've tried bullet journaling, I have tried a variety of apps, like organisation apps, that essentially help you track your progress or help you basically make a list of things that you need to do, like to-do lists, but the kind of ones that you kind of follow daily. And you know, I just cannot stick to them. And I always have this like envious part of me when I come home and I speak to my flatmates and they are just super organized and they're like, yeah, so we did all of the things that we needed to do for the day, while I'm literally running around trying to like remember what day of the week it is and what exactly I have to do. Now, throughout all of these struggles, there has literally been one thing that has been my saving grace, and it is not some big revolution. It's not a big revolutionary thing. It's in fact quite simple. But I want to share it with you anyway, because for any of you guys who are watching who, like me, are just chronically disorganized, I want to give you a little bit of hope. Let me introduce to you my best friend. Sorry to my actual best friends who are watching, I love you guys. Let me introduce to you my organizational best friend. Now, this little journal, book, notebook, whatever you want to call it, is essentially my book of thoughts. And it is essentially the place that I thought dump everything that's going on in my head, everything that I am thinking, everything that I possibly need to do, in the format of a checklist. And this works beautifully for me because I'm such a dopamine junkie, and yes, I'm one of those people that will do a task and then write it in here and then check it off, just so I can say I've checked something off. Don't lie to me, I'm sure you've done it before too. Now, the reason why I prefer this to making a standard, I guess, to-do list is because a to-do list is something that you often kind of set maybe the night before, and then you say, okay, well, my to-do list for tomorrow is this, this, and this. Now, the way that I use this is a little bit different in that, as I said, this is where I essentially dump all of my thoughts. Throughout the day, this is on me. Whatever comes up, I write it down. And I just want to show you a little bit of an example. As I said, this isn't anything like groundbreaking, but it works really, really well for me, and it's the only way that I can keep on top of things without having to plan in advance. And it almost becomes a game for me of seeing how many of these things I can actually check off. Now, there are probably better and more efficient ways to stay productive and stay on top of these things. I have no doubt about it. And I would love to know how you guys stay organized if you do tend to be a little bit more on the disorganized spectrum. So yeah, leave comments below. But basically, let me give you an example of Tuesday the 3rd of November and the kind of things I have on there. So basically, this is a little list that I have got, and I have made myself a little bit of a system. So when something is completely colored in, like a block, that means it's complete. Now, if the box has a X through it, like that, that means that that thing is no longer relevant. And the reason why I have that on there is because sometimes it's good for me to know what I've actually done and what I put on the list that no longer needs to be done. So I don't check it off in the same way. So just to give you an example with that one, the reason why that is no longer relevant is because I was planning on making this presentation anyway, but it is part of a piece of group work that I'm doing with a bunch of my colleagues as part of placement. And because I did my part and I sent the presentation to the group to finish off, then I no longer have to finish the presentation. So no longer relevant. But on the previous page, I would have written collect information for thyroid presentation, which is certainly checked off. And yes, I definitely did get a dopamine hit from it. And there you have it. Tiny, simple, easy to stick to little trick that honestly manages to keep me on track. There are certainly days that I wish I could get inside of the mind of the people who are super organized and who can stick to strict regimens and schedules. Like, I want to be inside your mind because I want to know what it's like. But alas, here we are, and this little journal helps me to essentially organize all of the chaos in here in some form of coherent manner. And there you have it. Share with me some of your thoughts below on how you guys stay organized, or just how you keep up with day-to-day tasks. Also, let me know if there's anything specific you would like to see in the month of November, and I guess I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care, and I'll see you later.